Do svidania. And that was hello in Russian and welcome to the Inside Line Racing League number 1, the ILR1 tier, here for the 6th race at the Russian Grand Prix at the Sochi Autodrome. In case you're wondering, my name is not Owen Wyatt. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it tonight. I am standing in for him. My name is Austin Smith. Welcome to this race. We have almost a full lobby, 18 drivers as of now. And we are still waiting, but the Russian Grand Prix, I know it is not a fan favorite. Being a Herman Tilke track, it's not exactly one that fans enjoy, but I have to say, from all the experience that I have with it on the F1 games and especially on F1 2019, it is a track that allows for quite some good racing. There's some good overtaking opportunities in there. There's some tight, twisty parts of it, and overall, it's certainly a track that allows for some fighting as well. Through turn 2, through the whole long left-hander of turn 3, and obviously, across the back straight, which does count turns 11 and 12, even though they're full speed, into turn 13 in the final sector. So there is plenty of space. However, we also have very good drivers here. If we look at the standings, we have ILRT Louis. Where is he? Is he in here? There he is. There you go. Being the championship leader. He won 4 of the last 4 races. The only one he didn't win was the very first race at the German Grand Prix. But everything else, yeah, he dominated that one. And behind him, 50 points behind, is T1000 Zach. There he is in the Haas. And then third in the standings, as we are up to 19 drivers now. Although I'm pretty sure that Jack is not a driver. He was just there to get me in because I'm standing in. It's all a little bit spontaneous here, but we are gonna make it work, and we're gonna have some great action on track. One thing to remember is that due to the geographic location of Sochi, there is a chance that it might be raining. Something that you wouldn't normally consider. How many Russian Grand Prix have we seen so far with rain? It's not the most common thing, but there is a chance of rain. Real F1 just got lucky for the most part. But there is a huge chance, or not a huge chance, but there's a certain chance that it could rain. Sochi being right at... Give me a second here. My goodness. As I said, it's all a little bit spontaneous. But as I was about to say, Sochi being... located right at the coast of the Black Sea, pretty close to Georgia, and it's really not far. One of the most southern parts of Russia. You wouldn't think Russia normally goes that far south, but in fact it does. And we are preparing here. We're getting 5 drivers ready. 6, so drivers are readying up, so we're about to go underway here with 19 drivers. 6, 7, 8, there we go. You can see it in the top right, and the countdown has started, so we are about to get underway here for the Russian Grand Prix. And let's look at the track list here for a second. We see the C2, C3, and C4 tire compounds, so the middle ones, and 5.848 kilometers. It is a very long track. You wouldn't normally think that, but if you look at the lap record, it was beaten by pretty much a tenth by Lewis Hamilton in 2019, who now holds the lap record with a 135.761. And that tells you pretty much the story here. 135, one lap. There are tracks on the calendar where the lap record is under 1 minute and 10. So Sochi, quite a long track. Obviously not the longest, that would be Spa. But it is a long track, and we will only, quote unquote, have 27 laps in the race. And here you can see turns 2 and... well, it doesn't really count as turn 3, the left-hander there, but that is turn 3 right here. Around the plaza, the Sochi Olympic Plaza from 2014, where you can still see all the flags. That was the ice hall, the ice rink of Sochi for the Olympic Winter Games of 2014. You can see the weather. It is very dark. It is very gloomy out there. So for these drivers, there might be a chance that we actually get to see some rain here, maybe already in qualifying. That certainly is a chance. We are waiting for someone to get out of the pits and for the drivers to get started, get underway for these 18 minutes of qualifying right here. And we hear some engine roaring. Knott is already on the mediums. He's the first one to switch here. And we have someone, I think, is that a Renault? I think that might be a Renault. Which would be... no, it's not. Who is it? So trying to see who it is. Oh, it's T1000 Zach, our second place in the standings. In the Haas, so it was one past that. It wasn't a Renault, it was a Haas. Hard to distinguish the two, really. Both a lot of black, a lot of, you know, yellow to gold. And the Frenchman out on track first. One thing the drivers are going to have to look out for here for this race is the there we can see it. I was about to say the track limits, and T1000 Zach right there already testing him on the outlap. Not even a lap into the session, and he's already testing him. The track limits here are very, very easy to cross and to exceed. So something that will be a challenge for every driver in qualifying and in the race. As we see a little bit more changes here on the timing with the tires, with AJ changing to the hards. So he has opted for the harder tire distribution, meaning he only has 2 sets of the soft tires available for this qualifying session. He does not have 3, which is the standard, or even 4, which is if you opt for the softer distribution. He only has 2. However, he also has an additional set of mediums available. And there's a spin from Zag as he starts his first flying lap, puts it into the wall, and now he's kind of stuck there. And he is disqualified from this session for going the wrong way. Unbelievable. Now he's in the middle of the track. Oh my goodness. Disqualified from the session. Our second place in the standings. That is incredible. That's going to be a huge spanner in the works for Zach. He's going to have to go all the way from 18th up the order and try to make it through the field. The good news for him is there are overtaking opportunities on this track, and it is quite easy to use them, so to speak. We have obviously turn 2 and turn 13, which we just went through here with Chapelele. But My goodness. That is already... that is remarkable. Chapelele aborts his lap, aborts his outlap, in fact. He's the only one in the pits now. Everyone else either on an outlap or on a timed lap. Who's going to be the first one to set a flying lap here? And it is Gonanen with a 1:31.0. And that is already a pretty good lap time right there. Paco second, now down to third with It's Me moving up to second place. And the times are going to come in pretty rapidly at this point. We're going to have Matt Tibbo's up to provisional pole, also a 1:31.0. Seems like there's not much to gain there. However, considering track progression, the track does evolve over time, and with only a quarter of the session done so far, I think we can expect the lap times to tumble a little bit. I think we're going to get into the high 130s, maybe even the mid 130s, but I think that's very optimistic. High 130, 138, 137, I think might be where we end up with our provisional pole. So Matt Tibbs and Gonan are already very, very competitive lap times for the two of them. And let's look at our championship leader, ILRT Louis, in the McLaren. He already has finished a lap. Oh, no, sorry, I jumped a row there. I looked at not in 8th place now, but Louis has just started his lap. And let's go on board with him to see a little bit about the track limits, for one. You see how flat these curbs are. It's just so easy to run wide or cut a corner on the inside. It's just absolutely incredibly easy. And I think it will happen to many of these drivers many a time during the race and in qualifying as well. We're going to see a lot of invalidated laps as he comes to the second best overtaking opportunity here, turn 13. Really tight corner, followed by another left-hander. And here, this is the slowest part of the track, the slowest section. Really have a lot of tight corners here. This right-hander, and then two more. Pit entry to the right. And through the second last corner, and the final corner. And over the line, which comes very early, and here we are, 1:30.8 for the championship leader, ILRT Louis. And I think that is what we would expect, considering, you know, his position in the standings. Let's take a look at Lewis, yet to finish a race this season. Or at least, well, the second half of the season. For some reason, the standings that I look at only contain the second half of the season. Again, it was very spontaneous that I jumped in here, so I'm very sorry for any kind of confusion. If I ever get to do this again, I will be prepared a lot better, trust me. But, yeah, Lewis, 2 laps already and not a single time, as I think that was Kryptonite who moved up to 9th place. Maybe let's look at Lewis. I think he may have invalidated both laps, but you see the lap times there, 1:35.0 and 1:37.1. Not exactly on pace when you look at the 1:30.8 from ILRT Louis, or all the 1:31s between P2 and P7. So he aborted those laps anyway, probably, as I think that was Chapelele who moved up to 4th place there with a 31.2. Very good lap from him here. Let's look at Lewis. Maybe he gets this one across the line without invalidating it. Ooh, goes wide there on the exit of the penultimate corner. And he does a 31.8. That is a competitive lap right there. He's less than a second behind the leader. As of now, we have a yellow flying sectors 1 and 2. Fortunately, I can't tell who this is. But let's look at ILRGT. In the Ferrari. And he aborts his lap. Very late entry to the pits there. But still counts. And Not has moved over. For him, the first race here. He has moved over from the mediums back to the softs. And you can see now the skies have cleared up. It's a lot brighter now. Not as gloomy as it was before. So it's all looking good again. And no, I would say at this point, no chance of rain, at least in qualifying. There are still some clouds, but it looks a lot brighter than it did before. As Gonanen moves up to provisional pole. In the Mercedes, beats out Louis by just over a tenth. Louis is going to have to respond, but we still have 7.5 minutes left in the session, so plenty of time for both drivers as Gonan tries to take the fastest way to the pits. And that is allowed. He's also very low on fuel. You can see the blinking light, the blinking red light. Really needs to make it to the pits in a very fuel-efficient way. Well, let's go back. Oh, Betty's in the pits. Yeah, let's go to Not here. Struggling a little bit on the corner exit there. You saw the car squirming just a little bit. Maybe a tad bit too early on the throttle. But I don't think that cost him all too much. This is a tricky corner here. Easy to track, extend, or corner cut. The inside and the outside are tricky there. When you go through turns 8 and 9, that is. And then now turn 10. This counts as turn 11. This right-hander here. Full speed, but counts as a corner. This one here is turn 12 and then into 13. Ooh, goes a little bit deep there on the entry, which does hurt him for the second part of that chicane. And that did lose him some time, I'm pretty sure. Takes a very sweeping way. That is a good line there. Does he go into the pits? Yes, he does. It almost runs a little bit too wide there as he makes his way into the pits. Let's go to Calzo here. A lot of drivers without a lap time. Matt Tibbas, meanwhile, also overtook ILRT Louis, pushed him out of the first row. Down to third place. Matt Tibbas up to second. Matt coming off 2 top 4 results in Singapore and Italy. Second place in Italy, 4th in Singapore. So I'm pretty sure he wants to continue that streak, maybe even improve it and go up one further than he did in Italy, one step above what he did. Calzo, really good lap time, 31.1. And at the same time, ILRT Louis just absolutely dropping the hammer. 130.3. Beats Gonan by 0.4 of a second. Absolutely remarkable lap time. And still 5 minutes left in the session. But I doubt that anyone could beat him unless the track just progresses massively now. I doubt that anyone can get there. That is absolute bombshell of a lap. Let's look at Coutinho. In the Renault. One of the three Germans here on the grid, the others being VRT Chapelele in 5th and ILRT Paco in 11th. He comes across the line 4th. Also drops under the 130.10 into the 130s, 130.9. But we still have plenty of drivers here. Let's look at the other one of the other Germans, Chapelele, as he's making his way towards the finish line, but he abandons his lap, goes into the pits. Yeah, now this is pretty much the calm before the storm. A lot of drivers going into the pits to prepare for one final run. Remember, with the track progression, the later you can start your lap, you have to do it before the clock hits 0, obviously, but the later you can start your lap, the higher your chance of getting the best lap time possible. Because with every waning second, the track evolves just a little bit more. It seems like Gonan is out there a little bit early, it seems. He could do this lap, then a cool down lap, and then another hot lap with about 10, 15, 20 seconds left. That might be perfect timing. It might also hurt his tires. However, in terms of tire strategy, this is one of the easiest Grand Prix here. Which is why I was surprised to see one of the drivers, I think it was SLR in 14th, to opt for the harder tire distribution. Usually, as far as I'm aware, soft to medium is the way to go here. Quite easily, you can make that strategy work without much tire management. You don't have to watch out for your tires a lot. And it's still very much possible, as he doesn't open the DRS here. Gonan, what is happening here? Yeah, he abandoned this lap. I'm not sure what he's doing here. He's still in hot lap mode on the ERS, so something seems not right. It seems like he's trying another run. So maybe he invalidated this lap and wasn't happy with it and needs to restart it. SLR moves up to 7th and immediately retires from the session. Well, that's a bang right there. In the Toro Rosso. One of the many, very many Brits here on the grid. It's easier to count everyone who's not British. Makes it faster, really. But here he goes. Look at this. He's running low on ERS now. Kryptonite in 13th has retired from the session. And we still have 3 drivers without a lap time. LR Betty, Not, and Alfie, who's still in the pits. So for him, he will not set a lap time. And he will start from 17th. So Betty and Not are the only 2. And again, Not in his first race here, as is Chapelele and Matique in 14th. They're all in their first race here. But here comes Gonan. Is he going to be able to outdo ILRT Louis, the championship leader? Ooh, no, that he abandoned this lap. And he's going into the pit. He doesn't have any ERS, and yeah, he abandons everything here. So for Gonan, it's over. P2. Matt Tibbos comes across the line with 15 seconds. Coutinho, oh, he will be too late. 10 seconds. He's not going to make it. He still has 4 corners left. Tries to cut here, but that's not going to help him enough. Yep, for him, this qualifying is over. And same for Alfie, obviously, and Gonan. Everyone else, at AJ, Kryptonite, and Zach. Those 6 already done, but we have 12 runners still on track. Let's stay with Matt Tibbos here. Is he going to be able to challenge Louis for pole position? And who's going to be next to come across the line? Not moves up to 7th. Very strong result. ILRT Paco to 10th as of now. Chances are he might be dropping out of it. Yellow flag in Sector 3. Already gone. Someone taking it slow, I think. Because that was, yeah, Kalza going into the pits. I think that's what that was. Matik going into the pits. Betty moving up to 14th. Chapelele not improving. Stays at 6th. Louis not improving. Here comes Matt Tibbas. Can he get up the order? Doogie Falcons up to 6th. And Matt Tibbas does not improve either. Do we have someone? We have It's Me still left. He's the last one to come across the line. Final corner coming up. 12th place as of now, and he does not improve. So this is our grid for the race. ILRT Louis, after 4 wins in a row, also takes pole position here at the Russian Grand Prix. With him in the first row is LR Gonanen in the Mercedes, who failed to get a podium so far this season. So for him to be up to 2nd place, very promising position. Let's hope he can turn it into something come the race. In fact, looking through, he has qualified 2nd in Italy, was not able to turn that into something, as he only finished 11th with 2 pit stops. So he messed up on that strategy. Matt Tibbas 3rd, Coutinho 4th, then Calzo, Doogie Falcons, Chapelele, Not, AJ, Oli Flavel in 10th. They're all tied to the soft tire. Then we have Paco, It's Me, Lewis, Betty, Kryptonite, Matik, and no time from Alfie and a disqualification for T1000 Zach. Very, very unlucky for him. But he's gonna have to, he has it all to do now. From the very back of the grid, from P18. But yeah, Gonanen, very, very interesting one. He always seems to qualify quite well. Looking at, you know, previous results here. 8th in Hungary. Was able to move up to 5th. So he knows how it is to work through the field. Belgium wasn't that good. Qualified in 6th. Only finished 12th. Then, as I said, 2nd in Italy already. Only finished 11th on a 2-stop. 5th in Singapore. And dropped down to 10th with 3 pit stops. It was a rainy race, however. And the weather was very chaotic there. And so, you know, 2 pit stops were the minimum. If you really timed one. He had to do 3. But I'm interested to see whether this time he's able to turn his front row starting position into a very, very good result. Maybe better than the 5th place that he scored in Hungary. Here's the grid, including the Ginger, who joined in between sessions after the qualifying. He was 2nd last time out in Singapore, so he was the only one who was anywhere close to ILRT Louis. And when I say anywhere close, yeah, we know what that means. Considering he has a 50-point championship lead. So let's look at the tires. We have the top 10 obviously on the softs, on the used softs. Paco and It's Me, 11th and 12th, 6th row, both on the mediums. Lewis in 13th on the softs. Betty on the mediums. Then we have Kryptonite, Matik, and Alfie, 15 to 17, all on the softs. And the last 2, Zach and the Ginger, both on the mediums. That's going to be interesting. Lewis, Kryptonite, Matik, and Alfie are going to have to work their way through the field quite quickly to at least get rid of the 2 to 3 medium runners that they have in front of them. And then be at the back of all the other soft runners. Driver's taking it quite slow to the grid. Not much warming up of the tires here to be seen. Again, tire management is not as big of an issue on this track. It's probably the most tire-friendly track on the whole calendar. You can easily do soft to medium here. And we are approaching the grid now. Let's look at where ILRT Alfie's. He'll be the last one, as Zach and the Ginger seems like opted out. Yeah, they opted out of the formation lap. And here we go. The grid is lined up. We are ready. The lights go on. Round 16 is now underway. And it seems like it's a really good start from Gonan, and he's already right besides ILRT Louis, who's going to have the better run up to turn 2. Gonan has the inside. A lot of side-by-side action. There was a Williams who ran into the back of another car. Pretty sure there's some front wing damage. There's also Doogie Falcons, who spun on the exit of turn 2. And Louis is still in the lead. Gonan now under attack from Matt Tibbers around the outside. They touch! But Gonan stays ahead. Coutinho moves up a position on Matt Tibbers. Calzo is still in there. And Lewis must have had an absolute rocket start. Up to P7 already. He started 13th. 6 positions up already. Coutinho solidifies the position ahead of Matt Tibbers. So he gained one. Matt Tibbers lost one. Chapelele gained one. Alfie moved one up on Ollie Flavel. And we see the drivers here pretty lined up. And oh, Matt Tibbers under attack here from the Alfa Romeo of Calzo into turn 14. Ooh, it's getting tight, but Matt Tibbers around the outside holds the position there. Great move from the Racing Point. As a lap 1 of 27 almost done. There was someone running wide. Seems like everything's fine. And we have not going into the pits already. Louis obviously with the fastest lap here. Is anyone else joining him? Yes, the Ginger is joining him. So both of them apparently with front wing damage. Let's see. Here's the Williams, and let's look at the Ginger in the Haas. They both will enter their... yep, there's the front wing change. You can see it coming off, and the same for Not. Meanwhile, Louis already building a gap here over a second. Let's see, where are we going to go? Ollie Flavel seems like... Oh, Betty's out of the race. Betty already retired. First retirement of the day. Very, very unfortunate for him. And it seems like Ollie Flavel has a little bit of a train here behind him. There he is in the Red Bull. Has a Toro Rosso behind him. And a Williams and a Ferrari and another Toro Rosso. All the cars lined up right behind him. I think it's too early to call it the trolley train, but certainly there is a train going on here. And he is losing connection up to PA to ILRT Alfie. Gap there over a second at this point. It's Me has left the session. He hasn't retired. He can rejoin. He has just left the session. He can rejoin and retake control of his car. But for now, I think he's ghosted. Yeah. You can see it a little bit. He's ghosted, so other cars can go just through him. They don't need to overtake him around the outside or anything. DRS now enabled. And Alfie must have made a mistake, because he drops right in front of Ollie Flavel here. Flavel had lost connection to the Renault. Now has got it back, and Alfie has lost connection to Lewis in P7. Gonan already with the first penalty here. 3-second time penalty for a lot of corner cutting and track extending. And we will see plenty more of these penalty notifications throughout the rest of the race. Trust me. That will not be the last by far. I would expect maybe there's going to be 1 or 2 drivers without any penalties. But that's about it. Everyone else is usually going to get penalties because it's so easy to get one here. Just a little bit too wide, a little bit cut the corner too much, and boom, you get a warning. You get 3 of those over 27 laps, and that's a penalty. You get 6, that's 2 penalties, and so on. You get, I think, what's the limit? I think 24 of those warnings, so 8 penalties, and you're disqualified. It might be 9. It might be 9 penalties. I'm not sure exactly, but you need to go very high there. You need to at least probably cut once every lap or track extend. Meanwhile, Louis right on the back of Chapelele, the Racing Point and the Red Bull here fighting for 6th place. Zach with a penalty. That doesn't help his chase, his hunt up the order. He's already up from 18th to 12th. Coutinho also with one. We're gonna lose track of these penalties very quickly. And if you want to keep track of them while you're watching, go ahead. But the way I've experienced it, it is much more exciting towards the end of the race if we don't look at who has how many penalties. We could do it on the race director. We do have that opportunity, but it is much more exciting if we don't look and just, you know, let ourselves be surprised. Matique with one. Yep, the penalties are coming now. It seems like there's not much overtaking going on because most of the cars are still too close to each other. And right at the very front, well, not at the very front, that's ILRT Louis, who is driving away. 1.5 seconds the gap now to Gonan. But Gonan, he seems to do a good job of defending here, because Coutinho would be the first one to be able to challenge him, considering that Gonan and the Mercedes does not have DRS, but the Renault of Coutinho does. However, he's not close enough. You see this right here. He's not nearly close enough. Has the DRS open, but no way, Jose. Absolutely no chance. Runs wide here, turn 2. That might invite Matt Tibbas. Also too far away. Also too far away. So far, seems like a really good affair here for the Racing Point guys. Matt Tibbas in 4th and Lewis in 7th. So pretty decent points those two would score here if that stays the way it is. Gonan with another 3-second time penalty. He's really accumulating those now. However, he's also driving away from Coutinho, so that might actually be worth it. And we can see here, no DRS for Coutinho, so he will be under a bit of pressure from Matt Tibbas. The question is how much? Is it going to be enough for an attempted overtake here into turn 13? No, it is not, but oh, look at how close he gets there. And that was really tight, and that maybe a little bit too tight involves or invites rather Calzo into the mix as well, who seemed like he was fancying a go at Matt Tibbas, then decided otherwise. ILRT Louis, our leader, with a 3-second time penalty. Chapelele with... You get a penalty. You get a penalty. Everybody gets a penalty. If someone wants to make that meme and post it on Twitter, go ahead. Because that's what this Russian Grand Prix is going to be like. That's what you can prepare for right here. Meanwhile, Louis, despite his penalty, or maybe because of, we don't know, but he seems to drive out a little bit more of a gap, over 2 seconds now, and Coutinho comes back within a second of Gonan, and so the fight is back on, but generally not much fighting going on as of now. Maybe part of that is also strategy, considering you don't want to battle too much early on. You want to keep that for later. You just want to drive away from everyone behind you and secure your, let's say, position range, which right now for all these runners that we have in the shot right now would be up to 7th place. Because we have a 3-second gap between Lewis and Alfie. Between P7 and P8. And that gap is ever increasing. 3 seconds after less than 6 laps. And it only goes up from here. Coutinho, very bad line through that chicane of turns 15 and 16. And now he's under immediate pressure from the racing point behind him. A German-British fight here for 3rd place, final spot on the podium. However, it is still long in this race. And here goes the racing point to the inside. And makes the move stick before the braking zone. Very well done there. Matt Tibbers gets his original starting position back. And another one here. Calzo round the inside, or down the inside of turn 3 here. Took advantage of another mistake from Coutinho in turn 2. And up another place. So over the course of, well, 2 corners, 2 positions lost for the German here. And he struggles again. He struggles again. A 3rd mistake there from the Renault driver. And now we might see a German battle between Coutinho and Chapelele. Fighting for 5th position. However, he's still in the DRS range of Calzo, so not much loss there. Other than the 2 positions. Oh, look at this. Chapelele close, but no cigar. However, this whole group here is still very close to one another, and Gonan able to drive away now finally. 1.3, 1.4 seconds the gap there. Also 2.6 now already to Louis in the front. If Louis re-watches this after the race, I'm very sorry, but we're not going to show you much because you're just dominating. 2.8 seconds already after just over 7 laps. And it seems like it only increases from here. Paco in the pits. That is a tad bit early. Let's see. He's going... Oh, he retires in the pits? Retires in the pit lane. Let's move over to tire compounds here. Let's see. Everyone on 7-lap old tires. The expected pit window for the softs is around lap 11 to 13. For the medium runners, it's somewhere between lap 14 to 17, let's say. 14 to 16, really. So all these runners still have a couple laps to go before they are due for their pit stop. And Coutinho goes too deep into the corner, loses another position to the Red Bull of Chapelele. And also under pressure from Lewis here, who might try to make it a 3 and 6 for Racing Point. The Ginger, fastest lap of the race so far. That is definitely going to change. Coutinho goes into the pits now. Seems like he has completely shot his soft tires. And that is an overdue pit stop at this point. Then Gonan also in. And Oli Flavel. They all go into the memes. That is quite early. But considering how Coutinho slid around, it does make sense. Let's see if Gonan comes out in traffic or if he has a bit of empty space in front of him, which would obviously be the better choice. Let's see. Tricky pit exit here. Oh, this is completely free driving for him. And instantly makes a mistake in the turn 2. Yep, that's cold tires for you. Coutinho, he gets a little bit better. For all three of them now, they can drive freely. They have no one in front of him for 3 seconds, and no one behind them for 3 seconds as well, at least. So they can all drive freely. Not much pressure, and that might invite some other drivers to pit now as well. Matt Tibbers, meanwhile, moved up to second on track. Obviously not net second, if you consider the pit stops. But let's see, Louis comes in. Who else jumps in? Chapelele and Lewis. One racing point had to stay out, and Matt Tibbers decides his tires are still good, so he stays out and drives with Calzo. Tries to stay out a little bit longer. Louis might actually rejoin in some traffic here. Let's see where they all come out in terms of traffic. Kryptonite moves past him. It's Me moves past him. Gonan would be next. Matik's in the pits as well. And Gonan is not going to get all of them. He's going to get almost all of them. Then comes Chapelele ahead of Coutinho. Trying to take the slipstream. Then we get Lewis. Alfie gets overtaken by Ollie Flavel. So that pit stop was worth it for Ollie Flavel. Going 1 lap earlier. Undercut working like a treat. And now we're down to 3 runners on the softs. The mediums can go the whole distance, so, that's not an issue. But I did not expect the soft runners to come in that early. Let's look at Matt Tibbers. He's all by himself right now. Honestly, it might be worth it for Matt Tibbers to go deep into this stint on the softs. If his softs are still good, why not? Look at the difference in time between him and RLT Louis. Keep an eye on that number, 17.5. No, he does come in fact. And I would expect Kryptonite and Calzo to come in as well, as they're still battling with It's Me behind them. Nope. Yes, okay. Dummied it a little, but they both come in. Kryptonite very late on the decision there. And T1000 Zach, who started in 18th place, has taken the lead, if only on track, but he has taken the lead of the Russian Grand Prix. The last to first challenge. If the race was over now, he'd have won it. But there's still 17 laps to go, and for him, 1 more pit stop. However, he has been making some very good progress, and it seems like his strategy is working out very well. Plus, he will have the softs for the second stint, meaning he will have some serious pace advantage over everyone that will be in his way. Calzo rejoins down in 14th. A lot of positions lost for him. Meanwhile, let's look at Chapelele and Coutinho here really close to each other. I apologize. Calzo and Doogie Falcons fighting for 13th place. We're going to stay on this one here, though. Chapelele and Coutinho, because that's the battle for net 3rd as of now. As Matt Tibbers dropped down with a late pit stop to 5th. Remember, he was 3rd before the pit stops. He dropped 2 positions. Absolutely remarkable. So all the work he put in before, all the effort to make up those positions, well, it was all for nothing. As he's down in 7th, well, with the 2 medium runners, a net 5th position. But he's still on them. And he's got slightly fresher tires. That is a very minuscule advantage, but it is an advantage nonetheless. And in a series where every little detail counts, such as Formula 1, that 1 to 2 lap difference there in tire wear might make the difference for Matt Tibbs towards the end of the race. We'll see about that. Isn't that a beautiful sound? I just wanted to stay silent for a bit and, you know, make you listen to those beautiful engine sounds. Obviously, it's not the Formula 1 of 2004, but even in the hybrid era, those cars, gives me goosebumps any day. Yeah, Matt Tibbs still not close enough to attempt an overtake. Let's see if we have any other battles on track. It doesn't really look like it. Let's switch it to interval to see that maybe. We are here at the closest fight, and it's a three-way fight. Coutinho maybe with a chance. He's got some serious overspeed going into turn 2. He shows himself in the mirror, but decides against a move, or at least an attempted move. But that is one way you can put the car in front of you under pressure. Just show yourself in the mirrors and make the opponent aware of your existence right behind them. Best way to scare someone into a mistake. However, Chapelele so far stays cool, calm, and collected. No mistake from him yet. Stays in net third, 5th on track. Oh, and here goes Matt Tibbs with some overspeed around the outside. Took a little bit of a wider turn, but it wasn't enough. However, it seems like Coutinho's struggling again with grip. And Matt Tibbs goes through. Did Coutinho let him through? What was going on there? That looked quite weird. Maybe it's part of strategy for Coutinho to say, hey, Matt Tibbs has a bit more speed than I do, but maybe Coutinho thinks I also have more speed, or he has more speed than Chapelele, and he wants Matt Tibbs to carry him past. Maybe that's the idea. I'm not sure, but this looked a lot like Coutinho just waved Matt by. Not often that I see that, but maybe it's for strategic purposes. Let those two battle and maybe be the laughing third. I don't know. And again, I apologize. I have a little bit of a rough throat, sore throat. But we'll get through this race. No worries. ILR2 Louis, another 3-second time penalty. Not his first. Might severely alter the standings. However, Gonanen also has 2 of those penalties at least. He may have picked up a third. Louis may have picked up a third. Again, it is hard to keep track of these penalties. And again, I'm not going to look because it makes it a little bit more interesting to just wait what's going to happen on the finishing line. Here goes Matt. Was thinking about going to the inside, but then the last second decided against it when he saw the Chapelele was braking quite late into the corner. And there was no opening there. And there goes Chapelele with a 3-second time penalty. For him, if I remember correctly, also not the first. Matt Tibbs goes deep. Big mistake there. There goes Coutinho. Nope. Matt Tibbs around the outside holds the position. Still in DRS window of Chapelele. That's his saving grace here. However, Coutinho might actually attempt a move around the outside. Oh, they're going to hurt each other with this one, with this squabbling away. And Coutinho again sliding. At this point, considering his tires are only 6 laps old, this isn't a tire issue. This seems to be something else. I think his setup might be a little bit too much towards oversteer. AJ lost it on the exit of turn 2. Look at this Toro Rosso there parked. Unbelievable. This is a huge crash. And there goes the Ginger. Very slow. Stops the car on track. What is going on here? Yellow flag in Sector 3, obviously. I mean, the car is almost on the racing line. Good thing he's ghosted, but what is happening here? What is happening? Okay. Yellow flag is gone. Zach comes into the pits. It's Me does not follow, so he will get the lead for now on track. And the Ginger retires from the session. So 4 retirements. Zach drops down the order. Yellow flag in Sector 1, I think, due to the retirement of the Ginger. Where does Zach end up? Comes out of the pits. I think he was a little bit late on disengaging the pit limiter there. Comes out in P10. 8 seconds behind 9th place. That is a huge challenge that he has to mount here in 12 laps. He needs to gain 7/10 a lap to have a chance of getting 9th place. My goodness. That's going to be a tough one. Meanwhile, this 3-way battle here now for 4th. Once It's Me comes across, or comes into the pits, rather. He's still going. Once he comes into the pits... Oh, he might actually get into the pits now. Let's see. As he is under pressure from ILRT Louis, and he doesn't want to squabble too much with the championship leader here. That's not his race, so I think he's going to pull into the pits right now. Because you only lose time if you get overtaken by someone. So, yep, there you go. Peels off to the right side into the pits. He goes. And that is Louis back into the lead. And now we have the correct standings once It's Me is back out on track. He will go onto the softs as well. And we will keep an eye on where he rejoins, as those 3, Chapelele, Matt Tibbers, and Coutinho, still fighting away. There goes Matt Tibbers, maybe a chance. Oh, he is ahead. And they touch and they spin. No, and Chapelele out. Matt Tibbers front wing damage. And Coutinho is the one who comes through. He is the one who escapes all of this in 3rd. Oh no, Chapelele's race ruined. He has retired due to damage. Was forced to retire, really, by the game. If you lose a wheel, you can't go on. Matt Tibb is lucky to even be still in this race. He's going to have to pit and go onto the softs, I reckon. Although with 11 laps, the question is how much damage did he sustain? Let's look at his car. If we can catch a glimpse. Oh yeah, he needs to go into the pits. That left side of his front wing, right side that we're looking at right now. Yeah, that one. No. He needs to go into the pits now. He loses so much time that he would lose more by not going into the pits. Going down in another 3-second penalty. And Matt Tibbers moves to the side to let other cars by. Absolute heartbreak here for the Racing Point driver and for the Red Bull of VRT Chapelele. And remember, it was Chapelele's first race here in ILR1. His very first race. Did not participate in any of them so far. And this happens. So unlucky. He was on track for such a good result. And then this. He was fighting for the podium. I just hope he doesn't lose any motivation and he just keeps grinding and tries even harder, even better next time at the Japanese Grand Prix. And for Matt Tibbers, well, he has 42 points in the standings right now. But he's going to lose a whole lot of positions in the standings, I reckon. Although, that being said, the Ginger, who is 5th in the standings, has retired. Betty, who's 6th in the standings, has retired. Dougie Falcons is in 11th right now. He's 7th in the standings. Calzo, who's 8th in the standings, is down to P9. So, doesn't seem to happen much. Coutinho might be the one to jump up the order here the most. Together with Gonanen. But none of them challenge Matt Tibbers, really. All he's going to do is lose a little bit of contact to It's Me and Zach in the standings. And Dougie Falcons now. Ollie Flavel with a move on Alfie. And he makes it stick quite easily there with DRS assisted. And as if it's nothing. As if it's just a walk in the park. Ollie Flavel up to 5th. And for him, this seems like a little bit of redemption here after he did not finish in the last 2 races. In both Singapore and Italy. Did not start in Belgium. 12th out of the points in Hungary and did not finish in Germany. So, last 4 races he started, really not all too good. But a 5th place now, that would make it a lot better. And you can see Alfie dropping behind here. Well, he's getting closer in the braking zone. And T1000 Zach with the penalty. He's also close to these two. And remember, he's on soft tires. So he's got a serious advantage. And here he goes, and they touch! Ooh, that was close. They kept it on the track, but my goodness, that was close. That turn 1 can be quite tricky. As Zach now chases after Ollie Flavel. Again, remember, serious pace advantage here on the softs for the Frenchman, T1000 Zach. A Frenchman in the Haas. Where have we seen that before? Oh, and Ollie goes defensive into turn 5. Helps him for now, but the question is how much longer? And how patient is Zach? He needs to... is he going to attempt it? Yes, no, he is not. A good choice, I think, to not attempt it there. Wait for the DRS zone here. And now. This should be quite easy. Has to go around the outside of turn 13 once it comes up, but gets the move done way before the braking zone. And up to 5th place he goes. Next up for Zach, 5.5 seconds ahead, the racing point of Lewis. Who, by the way, also has not scored a single point so far this season. 4 DNFs in 4 starts. Has not seen the checkered flag once. And he's in an amazing 4th place right now. If he can bring that home, I'm pretty sure he's going to be very, very happy. Is in the back, Ollie Flavel and Alfie fighting for 6th. And Ollie Flavel keeps it for now. We have 7 laps to go still. Well, 6 and the end of this one. And this might be the best battle we have here. Just a 10th between the two. And Lewis picks up a 3-second time penalty. Again, it's hard to keep track of the time penalties. I wouldn't bother. Matt Tibbers picks up the fastest lap, meaning... Considering that he's in 14th right now, and I doubt that he's going to move up the order into the top 10, he's going to basically take away the fastest lap point from everyone, but he's not going to get it. So, no fastest lap points for anyone because Matt Tibbs said no. That's basically the verdict on this one. Unless someone else somehow magically pulls a fastest lap out of nowhere, I think the only people to be able to do it would be Zach and It's Me, as they're both also on the softs. And on pretty fresh softs at that. So if they are able to do it, they might be able to snatch away the fastest lap point from Matt, or from no one really, but you know, Matt Tibbs would nullify it for everyone. But any of the medium runners in the top 10, no chance. Meanwhile, now the fighting has dropped a little bit. We can look at the leader of the race, ILRGT Louis, a bit. He's been leading almost the whole race. He was in the net lead for the whole race. And I think we need to show him just a little bit. Absolutely fantastic showing from him so far. The question is, we know he has at least 2 penalties. Will the gap to Gonan and to Coutinho... Remember, that's 6 seconds right there. If we look at the leader, it's exactly 6 seconds to Coutinho. Will that gap be enough to win the race? And it drops down to 5.7, so... If Coutinho has no penalties, or if he has one, but Louis may pick up another at some point in the last 5 laps... then Coutinho might be on his way to win the race after not having scored a point in his last 3 starts. DNF in Singapore, 13th in Belgium, 11th in Hungary. This would be a P1 if he gets it. If he has no penalties. I think he may have one, but I haven't seen his name all too often in the notifications in the bottom left, so... He might be in a prime position to win this, even though he's 5.5 seconds ahead behind the leader as of now. Oh, this could get interesting. And there's still the pressure of, if Louis makes a mistake and cuts a corner a little bit too much somewhere, or extends on the exit a little bit too much, that might be another penalty. You do get 2 warnings, but we don't know how many warnings he has either, so... He could be on 8 warnings right now, and if he gets one more, that would be number 9, therefore the 3rd penalty. Oh, this is getting exciting here towards the end of the race. This is getting very exciting. And Lewis now within 6.5 seconds, so he might be in the hunt for this one as well. He might be in play for the win. Remember, he hasn't finished each of his last 4 starts. And he might win this. What a story that would be. 4 laps now. 4 laps left for Louis and everyone else who's coming across the line now. The top 10 are all across the line. Dougie Falcons will be the next one. He has a little bit of time before he crosses it. There we go. Not also now across, and Matik another 3-second time penalty. He has collected plenty of 3-second time penalties here. So wouldn't be surprised if he drops down to 14th behind Matt. Although Matt also has picked up a couple of penalties. But this is getting juicy, if only because of penalties. Three more laps once Louis finishes this one, meaning about 5 minutes, under 5 minutes left in this race, if you will. The final 17.5 kilometers of this race. The gap now staying consistent. Seems like Louis has picked up the pace a little bit after dropping some time on all the guys behind him. Gonan and Coutinho and Lewis. Seems like he has picked up the pace again. But that might be too late. This corner right here turns 8 and 9. This left-hander here is turn 9. The second part of it. Very tricky one. That's one of the easiest spots where you can accidentally cut the corner a little bit too much or extend on the exit a little bit too much. I've done it plenty of times, and I know that from experience that corner is a very, very tricky one. But he navigates it well. Matik, another 3-second time penalty. He's picking up very rapidly now. He might be nearing disqualification even, maybe. So he needs to be careful. Unless he wants to get disqualified. Which would be a feat in and of itself. But I don't think that's a good one. Oh, Louis slightly across the grass here. 2 more laps. 3 minutes and a bit. And then we'll find out what is going on here with the penalties. Let's switch through all the cars to see where they are with fuel. If we see a fuel indicator in the bottom right on the telemetry, we don't see that for anyone. Wow. I've been doing... Oh no, there you go, Matik. Yep. Matik has the yellow fuel indicator, so he's pretty much the only one who's struggling on fuel, apparently. Lewis picks up a 3-second time penalty. And that are his chances of a win gone, I think. Unless Louis has 3, Calzo picks one up. I don't think that's all too consequential, considering he's 10 seconds ahead of Kryptonite. So I don't think he's going to lose a position. But this is all going to come down to penalties in a lap and a bit. Matt Tibbas goes into the pits again. Is he gonna get the fastest lap? Oh, he might. If he makes it out of the pits ahead of Louis, and then comes across the line before Louis finishes the race, he has one shot at improving his fastest lap. Matik, another 3-second time penalty. How much longer until he gets disqualified? He must be at 7 or 8 time penalties at this point. 1 or 2 more, and he's out. Maybe 3, but my goodness. Final lap for the leaders, for Louis, Gonanen, Coutinho, Lewis, and everyone behind. Final time round the carousel here, turn 3. Round the plaza, into turn 4. Through the section of 90-degree corners. This 90-degree right-hander. And the little kink here, a little right-hand kink, and then another 90-degree corner. Well, it's not exactly 90 degrees, but, you know, they all feel the same, all the corners here. Almost all of them. And then we go up to another 90-degree corner. Sochi is the track of the 90-degree corners. And the fuel indicator now doesn't mean anything. It just means that he's got under 1 lap of fuel, but he's in the final lap, so of course he has under a lap of fuel. Otherwise, I would be worried about his fuel management as well, because he has too much left in the car, which doesn't make sense either. But now Coutinho dropped out of the 6-second window. ILRT Louis through the final 2 corners. And he might actually take victory. Let's see. Comes across the line. It is the win for now. Gonanen comes across the line. 9 seconds. Oh my god. Lost 6 seconds. Coutinho moves up to 2nd. Lewis 4th. Zach 5th. Alfie will be in 6th for now and stays in 6th. Ollie Flavel 7th. No, it's me 7th. Ollie Flavel 8th. Calzo 9. And Kryptonite will round off the top 10. So Louis, 5 wins in a row. Hungary, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, and now Russia. Can anyone stop this man? Coutinho with a fantastic 2nd place, his first points. No finish in Singapore, 13th in Belgium, 11th in Hungary, always outside the points. Here, 2nd place. Very well done for Coutinho. Gonan in 3rd place will move up the order quite a bit. Only had 11 points before this race, now up to 26. Lewis, first time he finishes, P4. And that ends, and Kryptonite drops down to 11th, in fact. Who went up to 10th? As this is your podium, Louis on the top step. 5 race wins in a row. Back to back to back to back to back. Remarkable. And here are your provisional results for the Russian Grand Prix. ILRT Louis takes the win ahead of Coutinho, Gonan, and Lewis, Zach, Alfie, It's Me, Ollie Flavel, Calzo, and Deggy Falcons takes the final point. That is your top 10. No fastest lap point because Matt Tibbas, 132.5, an absolutely ungodly lap time right there. Outside the points, we have Kryptonite, Nod, Matique, 21 seconds, 7 penalties. Not close to disqualification, but not close enough. Matt Tibbas, and then the retirements of the race, Chapelele, AJ, The Ginger, Paco, and Betty. And that is going to be it for the ILR1 Season 6, Round 16, the Russian Grand Prix. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next week with the Japanese Grand Prix, hopefully with Owen White again. I was standing in for him. My name is Austin Smith. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.